I took my lunch to work and I brought it back. I'm eating it for dinner. What did you eat for dinner? What did you eat for dinner? Mm? Big goat meat. How has your year been so far? How has your year been? When we were going through parental alienation and domestic violence, you can't talk about it because it's a taboo. You'll be alienated. You'll be re-victimized by society, by your church members, by your family members. Because to them, how dare you get the divorce? But today, in today's society, it's normal to not die in silence. It's very normal to seek help, both privately and publicly. So I want to remind you, if you are dealing with anything of such nature, find help, find platforms, find a community, because you are most likely not to gonna get a community from your environment. Your friends, your family, and your associates are most likely not going to be your community. Find platforms that you can um, relate with people in society that have walked that walk, that provide you with support. Because the last thing I want to see you do is to go through it alone. That's the last thing I want you to do. Go through it alone. Don't be shamed into silence. Don't be, you're already a victim. And you're going to allow yourself to be re-victimized because of your story, because of your situation. That's your reality. That's your reality. If you stay in silence, that's how you are not going to bounce back. You are going to, it's like you've got into a ditch and there's no turning back. You don't know how to turn, how to, like, you can't even wiggle your tail. Find a community, find association. You don't have to deal with it in silence. A lot of people are dealing with it. The same thing you are dealing with. But because of judgment, because of stigma, because of, you see, have you ever seen, watch me chew my bone. Have you ever seen someone who is starting from the bottom and found support? Never. Oops. That should tell you that people don't want to associate with negativity. People don't want to associate with pain. Why? It makes them remember their own pain. That makes them see you as, oh, so this shameful thing that I can't imagine bringing it to public. I can't imagine. I'll tell you that, you know, when I started seeing solution, I started seeing solution from when I started parental alienation. I started EPA Worldwide. I'm telling you, when I started EPA Worldwide, that is when the devil started falling. When I started not being quiet, when I started not keeping it to myself, when I made it everybody's business. That's how I started seeing solution. Not because the people that were listening to me were providing support, but because the people that were lied to started knowing the truth. And they started, of course, I don't expect them to come and support me. No, because they will forever be his associates, right? His flying monkeys and stuff. But at least those who, I mean, how can you be living in a house and expect me to be paying your HOA? How is that I worked and paid closing costs on that you took from me? You're living in it and still financially abusing me. At least that aspect was exposed to the people that were believing his lies, right? Since that minute, any money he collect from me, I sent emails to him and I tagged them on the people that were supporting him to abuse me. The people that claim to be pastors and whatnot, that he's in church with them, and because he's marrying or dating their sibling, so they have to act like. So there is no healing in remaining silent. There is no healing in remaining silent. There is healing in speaking up. There's healing. If it's nothing at all, you are getting stuff off your chest, and that is a mode of healing. When you start doing that, start patting yourself in the back. You know why? There is no way you can do that without achieving some level of healing. There is no way you are in that traumatic state and you'll be able to put camera in your face and start raising awareness or start talking about your story if you have not started your healing journey. So speaking up is part of healing. Whilst people would not want to associate with it because to them it's negativity, because to them it's shame, it's humiliating. They don't want to associate with it. They would rather fake and be pretending and go and buy fake Louis Vuitton label bags, fake Louis Vuitton clothes, fake Gucci mama, Gucci money clothes, and go to a yacht party and go to some kind of vacation with people. Don't forget that is healing, right? Associating is healing because you are a social being and your abuser should not silence you into intimidate you into silence so you won't associate. But the kind of association whereby they want to protect you, they want you to remain faking, they want you to remain pretentious so that they can relate with you, so that they can keep showing perfect picture to the outside world. You don't need that. You need to heal so that when you show up to the outside world, you show up with confidence, you show up with genuine peace, you show up with genuine happiness. You get it? Yeah, this big fat goat meat today is trying to fall, but we're still gonna try and chew it. You see what I'm saying? So take note. Healing don't come by chance. It takes time. It's a process. It's not easy. I will not lie to you, but it is doable. It is attainable. You can achieve healing. The fact that you have achieved healing does not mean that you will not have your moments. You will not have your triggers. You get it? But when you have achieved healing, your triggers will come, but you have a better way of dealing with it, of coping with it. I've always talked about how, to me, I made my narcissist irrelevant. He's not the most important thing in my life. To me, he's dead and gone. I was on this live for the past 2 days over the week, like Friday night, and then was it Friday night or whenever? I was off yesterday, right? But yesterday I was home. I was able to join. If you are not on my Facebook page, then you don't know. You see the lives there. I put few clips there, right? And this lady speak of the same strategy, how she used to heal too. She talked about she was trying to help another lady that is in the acute phase of this journey and still live with the person, right? She also, the host, also still lives with her narcissist. She's been married for 17 years. Narcissists have only worked in their whole 17 years of living for 9 months. 9 months, that's it. Lives there, don't pay no bills, that kind of thing. And I was telling her, since she was is still actively living with the person, how is it, how did she do it? She should teach the people on the live how she's doing it, that she's still able to live there and be coping, right? Be able to cope, because I cannot imagine me doing that. I'm done. Listen, I will close my door so tight and don't open it back. So she was talking about, and I realized that, oh, same method. So you see, it does work. You make them irrelevant. In your life, they are like dead and gone. They don't exist. In fact, in your mind, you switch up this lock. Basically, they are locked up and gone. They don't even exist. That is how come me and my kid's father, I don't have any emotions towards him. I don't hate him. I don't like him. I don't care if he's dead or he's living. And in fact, if I'm dead and gone, I don't want his face at my funeral. I don't want his eyes, Kuroko eyes, seeing my dead body, my corpse. And that will is already done. Emails have been sent, so everybody know. I don't want him to show up. Guys, sorry. Sorry. I had this call that I had to respond to. That's why I had to. During the course of the call, I finished my food. So, yeah, during the course of the call, I finished my food. So, you see, that is the thing. You have to be intentional about your healing. You have to be intentional, because these things go through. At the end of the day, the kids, the effect is going to be lifelong on the kids too. The kids that experience the abuse, plus the kids that experience the struggle you have to go through to keep them going, to keep their life going, to provide for them, to shelter them. The struggle you have to go through to do all that, the kids sees it in one way or the other. Even that have impact on the kids' lives. It shapes their outlook of life. You see that some of the kids that after all the abuse, all the trauma they've been exposed to, the crisis, they will say, I don't want to have kids. You see a male child that will tell you they don't want to have kids. So who are you going to be with? A man so you won't have kids? You get it? You see a girl child that will also tell you, I don't want to have kids, because what? They have seen the struggle you've been through raising them, and the only memory they have is the trauma. like how difficult it is to raise a child, how life is difficult, how they don't believe in love because they didn't see love. All they see is pain. Anything related to love, they associate it with pain. This is real. The things you are going through, the cries you go through, you cry, the pain, the emotional frustrations, that shapes their views on the world at large. So don't ever be quiet and think that will help you. No. What will help you is finding your way of healing. If it has to do with venting, if it has to do with crying it out, if it has to do with taking some classes, if it has to go deal with seeking therapy, let me tell you the number one way healing comes is gaining insight to the situation. There is no way, you are giving somebody medication. They cannot take the medication when they don't have insight to why they need the medication. This is what's going on. This is how it's affecting my life. But this is how the medication that's going to reverse the anatomy and physiology of what is going on with you. Why your body is responding with the things that you are going through this way. So if you take the medication, it is going to help with the formation, balancing of chemicals, balancing of hormones, everything. So it is very important that you don't look at societal blame, stigma, people shaming you, and that makes you get intimidated into silence. Find a community, understand what you're going through, so that when you are talking to them, it doesn't sound alien. Imagine someone that all they ever had was two-parent home, had a perfect life, had a great life, not being married to a great husband who is always there, actively involved in her life and in the kid's life, and is a good leader. And you are going to be crying too. That person, everything you are saying is so alien. Everything you are saying is so alien. You get it? It's so alien. Everything you are saying to them, they can't relate to. They don't have an answer to give you. They don't know how to help you. They don't know anything to share with you about helping. That is why you must find platforms that understands your work and are able to give you leads and suggestions as to how to become. You keep going to the people that don't understand, don't have insight to all these things you are saying, you are experiencing. They're going to stigmatize you, and the stigma will further push you into a dark place, because you feel like nobody understands, nobody's listening, nobody hears you out, nobody cares. That's very common. Nobody cares. That's what we all come up with. Nobody cares. Get it? If you gain insight, you're going to learn how to combat the situation. And it's going to increase your confidence, because you are going to put this in the freezer. I went out to get a few bottles, to go to the garage to get a few bottles of water. I'm trying to put the water in the fridge. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to leave you here with these words of encouragement. Don't let anyone silence you into shame, whereby you don't talk about your problem. If you cannot put camera on your face like some of us did to help others, you sure can have a community that you go to and put on your log on and be listening to get yourself empowered, to get yourself leads to how to overcome You don't have to. It's not everybody that have to put the camera on their face to share their story. But you are going to associate with platforms that discuss things that affect you, so that you become empowered. You gain leads, tricks, strategies, and knowledge as to what the situation is and how to overcome it. You don't want to live in isolation. You don't. Always learn to understand that isolation in marriage is a death penalty. That's how I always say it. Isolation in marriage is a death penalty. So if after their marriage, you still want to remain in isolation, then you have a big problem. I love you. Have a wonderful night. And don't forget to go back to the beginning if you are just joining, to watch the video, to listen to it, and share it to a friend, somebody that's going through it, to know that they are not alone, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. It gets better. You go be. That's what I was saying. You see how my cheeks are bubbly, and my fat belly is bellying, and my boobies are boobing. Yes, it's going to. That's what they associate with comfort and peace in Africa. No, it's not. This is not good health. All this fat here is not good health. All right, means I need to hit the gym and get better. Not for anybody, but for me. Get healthy. All right. Anyway, I love you, and you have a wonderful night, okay? Don't have anxiety. Don't go to sleep and sleep good. I wish you good night. I wish you anxiety-free night. Put on your listen, open your window, and put your face in the cold air and take a deep breath and increase your oxygenation, good oxygen to your brain, and get a nice warm bath and get to bed and see how that helps. God bless you. Have a good night.